Good evening. Thank you for inviting me to speak at the Teach Meet. First of all, I'm really sorry I can't actually be there in person. I love a good Teach Meet, but getting down from Oxford to yourselves after work is just not particularly doable. So anyway, my name is Paul Wright. I've been teaching now for 10 years. I'm on Twitter at Tips for Teaching UK. My blog is tipsforteaching.co.uk, and I set up a shop ages ago for resources for teachers that some of you might even use already, called teachershop.co.uk. And I scribbled a book a while ago from Bloomsbury called Teach, Reflect, Doodle. What I wanted to quickly share with you, because Teach Meets are all about sharing ideas, was something from my blog, which is 4 questioning ideas that I tested last term. I thought I'd share the top 4 questioning activities that I used over 6 weeks before the holiday for anyone who's interested in refreshing their own practice. At number 1 was no hands up questioning, or cold calling. What is it? For anyone who can't guess from the title, it is exactly what it says on the tin. You ask questions, but you don't allow students to put their hands up. I ask the questions out loud. The whole class is hearing the question before I choose a student to answer it. Why do it? By not allowing the learners to put their hands up, I was able to control who I was challenging with my questions, so it gave me that kind of control. Students could be targeted by me based on the level of challenge that I felt those students needed. It's a really good one. If you want to read any further on that, check out Teach Like a Champion. It's online, it's really cool. Up number 2 was something that I call pyramid questioning. So what is it? It's perhaps less obvious than the other one. I start by posing a question to one of my, so we say, lower ability students, and then I build on that initial question while I work my way up to the most able student in the class. But the trick is that I don't stop when I get to there. Classically, you might stop there because you think you've got the best answer. What I then do is make a conscious effort to move back down the ability level of my students. And why do you want to do that? It allows me to challenge my lower ability students first, which I found kind of switched them on to what I was doing. And then by the time you've got up to the top and worked your way down the other side again, the aim is to allow the second set of learners to give fuller answers than those who went at the very beginning. And it really helped me to measure the understanding of a topic across a large number of students in my classroom. It was quite a good technique. Next up is starter for 10 questions. Well, what is it? It was a simple idea. I'd use 10 questions on the board and ask students to write the number of each question alongside their answer. It's dead easy. Created a set of questions based on the topic that they'd already studied. Why did I do it? It was a good way of starting lessons and setting my expectations at the very beginning of the lesson. It was a good way of reminding students that my lessons would include quite a bit of challenge. And it was also really good at supporting students to recall information that they've already learned. And last but not least, this one, it always amazes me how many people go, oh wow, yes, I've never heard of it before, or I've actually stopped doing it, which is the old classic pause, pounce, and bounce. What is it for the uninitiated? A classic. Pose a question to the whole class, pause for a few moments, the longer the better. We kind of need to get comfortable with that silence. And then pounce by choosing a student to answer that question, but not stopping there. You bounce the question on to another student, challenging them to add to it, building upon, or even challenging the answer that's just been given. If I'm honest, this one had actually fallen out of my routine, and it was worth me doing a half-term focus on my questioning technique to put it back in there and watch my students, struggles maybe not the right word, but be challenged by me. Why do it? It's an excellent way to stretch and challenge your learners, and it's actually backed up by research that really shows that the method itself engages learners and it actually strengthens their recall ability. This is all available from my blog. It's up there for you to download as a really cool worksheet or reminder, crib sheet, whatever. I know quite a few people very kindly on Twitter have printed them out and put them in their staff rooms and are very pleased with them. And there's a second one up there on assessment tips and ideas as well. Anyway, enjoy the Teach Meet. Shout out on Twitter if you're on there and let me know what you think of the ideas. Enjoy.